name is Abby Cruz, and I am a senior at Iowa State University studying advertising. Did you know that 53% of girls at the age of 13 are unhappy with their bodies? And by the time they turn 17, that number increases to 78%. This is largely due to the sexualization of women in media. The sexualization of women in the media is the entire reason I chose a career in advertising to begin with. The poor representation of women has a negative effect on our body image, self-esteem, and mental health. Not only does this poor representation affect women, but it does affect men as well. According to an article written for Adweek by Katie Richards, men are 4 times more likely to appear in advertisements than women. With new technology, images are more edited than they ever have been. Back in the day, the only form of enhancement we had were cosmetics. But now we can digitally alter photos to create images of bodies that don't even exist naturally. Young girls are encouraged to meet these inhumanly possible ideals at younger and younger ages. According to the article, Toxic Culture 101, Understanding the Sexualization of Women, written by Shadia Dusk, researchers reviewed over 1,000 Rolling Stone cover images published over 4 decades, and they found that 11% of men and 44% of women appeared in sexualized images in the 1960s, as compared to 17% of men and 83% of women in the 2000s. In the documentary Misrepresentation, Margaret Cho, a comedian and actor in All American Girl, tells the story of her struggle with body image. She says, "Networks were constantly telling me that I was too fat. I became very anorexic trying to somehow keep this job that I really wanted to keep. And then they replaced it with Drew Carey, because he's so thin." 65% of women and girls have an eating disorder. There's a significant relationship between eating disorders and depression. Being bombarded with digitally altered images of unattainable bodies, women develop eating disorders to attempt to match what they see. Depression in women has doubled between 2000 and 2010. Not only does the media portray women as objects, but young girls are actually beginning to see themselves that way. The more women self-objectify, the lower their political efficacy. This means that we are raising a whole generation of young women who will not run for office nor vote. Women are 51% of the population, but only comprise 17% of Congress. Because the media encourages the idea that leadership positions are for men, and women are just body products for the male consumption. The poor representation of women in the media is a problem that largely goes unnoticed because it is so normalized. It's impossible to avoid media, so it's impossible to avoid these negative effects on women. But the first step to reversing the negative effects it has on our body image, self-esteem, and mental health is to recognize the very existence of these harmful portrayals. Once they have no power over us, we can begin to fix the problems that plague women.